Wow, that sounds really bad, doesn't it? That sounds really bad. I'm like, oh, this is just like light reading. It's not light reading. That's my version of light reading, I guess. Hi there, so I thought I would do a little update today on what I've been reading in April. It's April 9th today, so we're still not quite mid-month. But I thought I would do a little update since it's been a couple weeks since I did a last update. By the way, if you want to know how I got this look today, here I did a BoxyCharm unboxing, which should be up before this video for sure. So I will link that down below and you should go watch it. So I have now read 24 books out of 50 that I want to read for the year, so I'm definitely probably going to read more than 50, which is fine, which is great. I'm very happy that I'm still excited about reading, and I feel a lot more comfortable reading much bigger books than I did before. I used to get overwhelmed and go, how am I gonna finish that? Because my problem before is that I'd get distracted and get bored and stop reading something and start something else and never finish what I started, and I really wanted to break that habit, and I'm really happy that I've been able to break it. It's taken a couple years, but it's worked. So let's do this in order. So I finished Filthy Rich, A Powerful Billionaire, The Sex Scandal That Undid Him, and All the Justice That Money Can Buy, The Shocking True Story of Jeffrey Epstein. And this was written by James Patterson, who is a very, very well-known crime / mystery thriller novel writer. And this is like his first nonfiction book, I believe. So I thought that was kind of interesting that I thought like it must be really well written and very readable since he's a fiction writer. He's a novelist that's very well known, that people love, so I thought he would be able to tell this story very well, so that's why I picked this book. And it was good. It was definitely very entertaining. It was definitely a page turner. Didn't take much time to read it. Jeffrey Epstein is nasty AF for sure. And I don't really remember that much to say. I don't have that much to say about it, to be honest. I took out this book more as like a light read. Like it wasn't like, yes, there's some heavy shit in it, obviously. Underage girls, underage girl sex, etc. Definitely heavy stuff. But wow, that sounds really bad, doesn't it? That sounds really bad. I'm like, oh, this is just like light reading. It's not light reading. That's my version of light reading, I guess. I'm not gonna say the long story. The short story is that Jeffrey Epstein is, and lots of people are. No, basically he's not a very good person, and lots of people around him weren't very good people, and there are lots of people like him out there, so he's just the one that got caught. Next, I also read Lost Connections, Uncovering the Real Causes of Depression and the Unexpected Solutions by Joanne Harry. And this was so good. This was amazing. This was recommended by my friend, and I'm so happy that I got around to reading it. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, and I definitely want to own it someday and reread it. I have dealt with mental health issues throughout my life, and this really had a sort of macro view of what depression is, and as more of a social ailment and societal ailment rather than an individual problem. And unfortunately some people kind of like missed the point of the book. Like there were some reviews that were talking about how he's condemning antidepressants, and not at all. That's not the point of the book. I take antidepressants, he took antidepressants. It's just the antidepressants are a band-aid solution for a massive societal problem. This is not just a minority of people that deal with these issues, with depression and anxiety and mental health issues. This is most people in our society, and there's a reason for this. There's multiple reasons for it. And so he goes into those reasons, and this is super readable, super relatable. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to many scenarios in the book, and I think that he has an extremely compassionate view of people with depression and mental health issues, and a very open view. And so I found this book to be actually very inspiring and illuminating. I definitely recommend this book to anyone who's dealt with any kind of mental health issue, however big or small they may think the issue is. Even if it's just slight anxiety, anything, I think that you should pick this book up. Or if anyone close to you deals with these issues, I think you should pick it up, and it will offer a lot of insight. And it might help you too. The next book I read was Shame Nation, The Global Epidemic of Online Hate by Sue Sheff. And this I picked up because I've been really interested in wanting to understand and sort of reckon with the whole phenomenon of online hate and trolls and shaming and humiliation and cancel culture and all of that, because I feel like it's gone really too far many times, and I am kind of lumping a bunch of things all together, but I think all of these problems kind of come from the same place, which is the internet. Just filled up my memory card. So as I was saying, yeah, so Shame Nation, Shame Nation is addressing all of these issues that I have been thinking about lately. It mostly just offered a lot of examples of how things have gotten out of hand. Sue refers to the disinhibition effect, which is basically what happens when we are all behind a screen and we have a hard time imagining the other person on the other end, and basically there's like a lack of empathy and compassion that has been progressively taking over our culture. What's notable is she makes a point of establishing that shaming and humiliation and ostracizing people has always been part of society. All cultures and societies have done this, and this is a tactic to keep people in line, right? So that is true. The difference though is that 25 years ago, you didn't get shamed in front of billions of people, right? In front of the entire world, and it wasn't permanent. Now, anything that happens, anything you do, anything you say is there, and it's permanent, and people can use it against you forever and ever. And so 20, 30 years ago, you might have done something stupid in high school, and it'll be in maybe a handful of people's memories, but that's it, you know? And so there's a huge difference now there's a lot more at stake, there's a lot more to lose. And so she does go into depth also into what you should divulge, talk about, how to protect yourself online, basically, which aside from some obvious things, I think you need to make that decision for yourself. You need to decide for yourself what is your boundary. My boundary is knowing that I don't want to put anything out there that isn't fully me, I guess. That I wouldn't back, that I don't feel, which doesn't mean I haven't done anything that I regret. Like, I used to post things that when I was younger, like a decade ago, that I wouldn't necessarily post now. But that's the thing, that's the point though, and that's why a lot of young people are most at stake, you know. Some more serious stuff that happens is stuff like sextortion, especially for young girls. It's horrifying. and I could talk about that for a long time. I'm not going to. The foreword was by Monica Lewinsky, who is the original shamed person, I guess. Or she views herself that way. Many people view her as being the original person who has been shamed and humiliated beyond redemption. A lot of people, you know, lose their jobs with a tweet or a picture or a comment or a like or a snapshot of a private conversation. And I'm not talking, like, sometimes it's a good thing, like obviously people who are homophobic, racist, these kinds of things, like obviously, yes, they should be called out and these shouldn't be hidden, and yes, these can be used to hold people accountable. Like, yes, that's great. But there's a lot of other things that are completely ridiculous. I remember one story I read. One story in her book talks about a young girl, a teenage girl, who was masturbating in her room. Someone caught it on videotape, like on their camera, through her window, and it got around to everyone. I don't know how many people, but a lot of people. It ruined her life. Of course, imagine being a young girl and having that happen to you. That's just one example, but lots of crappy things have happened, leading to people losing jobs, leading to suicides, leading to massive depression and anxiety. It's worth reading if you're interested in these issues. It's not the best book. I gave it 3 stars because while it was interesting, it wasn't the most insightful always. I found it lacking in some areas where it could have been going a little deeper and been a little more insightful. So for that reason, I gave it 3 stars. But I still think it's worth reading if you're interested in that sort of thing. It's very, very up to date, very relevant to today's world. So those are the books that I just finished reading. What I'm reading right now is a Stephen King novel called Needful Things. And this is a really huge novel. This is, you know, like a 1,000-page novel. It's taking some time. I have to go now. My toddler is hungry. It's supper time. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Please click that notification bell so you don't miss another video from me. And please leave your suggestions down below. Please let me know what you're reading and enjoying right now. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye.